Whoa!
Welcome to the What's Up Verdict podcast, where we fashion ourselves cinematic judge and jury. My name is JJ Crowder. I'm here with my co-host, Matt Senheiner.
It's good to be back. Better red than dead, baby.
And Ian Anderson.
Some shit.
We appreciate help growing the podcast. Go ahead and hit that like, subscribe, and bell notification button so you can follow up on all of our spoiler-free reviews. Go check out our website, whatsupverdict.com, where you can sign up for our newsletter to get exclusive content and updates, pick up some merch, and interact with us. The question we always ask, if you ever find yourself wondering if you spend the time, money, or both on a movie, to help with that question, each week we put a movie on trial, discuss the facts, pass judgment, and let you know our verdict. Today we're reviewing National Champions. It was released December 10th, 2021. It was written by Adam Mervis. It's directed by Rick Romanois. It stars Stephen James, Alexander Ludwig, J.K. Simmons, Uzo Aduba, Lil Ray Howery, Tim Blake Nelson, and Timothy Oliphant. A star quarterback who attempts to ignite a players' strike hours before the college football national championship game in order to fight for fair compensation, equality, and respect for the student athletes. As I said, this is our spoiler-free review. We'll rate each movie on a 3-tiered scale. Worth it, meaning you should find a way to watch this movie as soon as possible. Stream it, meaning wait until you can watch it for free. Then finally, not impressed, meaning you shouldn't watch this movie at all. You can listen to our deep dive review on National Champions on Monday, December 20th. So with that, let's jump into spoiler-free. Mattson, why don't you kick us off, bud?
Yeah, for our listeners, maybe we don't watch too many sports movies on here. Maybe there just hasn't been too many to watch. I love sports. I am a massive sports fan. JJ can attest to that. You can see JJ's affiliation for his love of college football on his right shoulder there. He's a big Ohio State fan. I myself am a huge BYU football fan, Virginia Tech fan. So naturally, a movie with football is something I would gravitate towards. This movie is not that, and that's okay. Movies that don't like lean on and show tons of footage of sports but have a backdrop of sports are okay. I mean, something I'm totally fine with. But this movie sucked. You can see in my name it says National Losers. This movie's all about to pay college athletes and the struggle to make that happen. But what was weird about this movie is that actually has happened in real life. And they, I guess, wanted to write a story that showed the struggle to make that happen. And because there is the real way it happened, but it's not as sexy and as fun. But this movie, I was just really annoyed because it had like no resolution to it at the way it ended, and then there was a frivolous love affair story that kind of got thrown in that I don't know why they needed to add that to drive the story home even further. So for me, I felt like I watched something that tried to allude to true events, but in a fictional sense that didn't have any resolution really at the end, and just left me annoyed that I watched a 2-hour movie for something that was kind of true, but wasn't really true in the universe they created in their movie. And I should have just watched something else. So I was very not impressed. Just really annoyed at the whole backdrop, and they really didn't include any football, no cool football scenes, no game. So it just left me wanting a lot more.
Fair enough. Ian.
Yeah. I feel like it wasn't bad, but I just was not invested in this. I don't think it helped either that when I was coming into the movie, I had the impression that this was going to be a true story, or at least based on actual events. And so I kind of had that expectation, and then I got in there and they've got the Wolves and the Cougars, these random football teams they threw together, which was kind of weird.
Maybe make their logos look better. They looked like so 12-year-old-ish.
They look like high school teams or something. It was funny. But yeah, it didn't grab me. It's not something that I'm super interested in. I have like a couple questions during the deep dive for these two big sports fans. I like sports, but not that much. And yeah, I felt like the way they wrote the story, it gave me the impression that the reason the story was written, the way the story was written, was for convenience for them to tell a specific side, and they didn't, like, it wasn't so much about this is what's going on, this is what's happening, as it was this is what we want to happen, or the point that we think should be made, and all the things that happen are going to drive our side of the story. So I thought that was kind of interesting and frustrating at the same time. But I'm not impressed. So I'll give it a stream it. I still thought it was well done, like well acted, kind of an interesting take on everything. So yeah, I'll go stream it. But it may not be your cup of tea. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, that's fair. I think I'm going to be a little less harsh and harsh at the same time. From a movie perspective, and Ian, you kind of touched on this at the end there, is from an acting perspective and certain pieces of the story, I think it was well done in the acting. Like, look, J.K. Simmons, like, there's no one better in a lot of ways out there for me. The guy can act, and he has some very riveting scenes where you just believe in him. There's also some, I mean, Timothy Oliphant, he plays an interesting part that tried to have a twist that didn't really work, but I like him. There was some really good acting in the movie, and I think the story could have been good. And I think, Mattson, you touched a lot on it, that we all know how this story played out in actual college football. So I don't know if it was a bad timing thing that, this is the year that the NIL went live and, these guys can make
took
money.
the air out of the balloon because it didn't land the way. I mean, we have to go to the deep dive because I can't.
Sure.
It's just that's a good analogy for me. Like the air was already out of the balloon as I saw the way it was going. It's like, well, this isn't really correct. Why did they didn't try to stay close to any of the trueness of what actually happened?
Yeah. Yeah, and I didn't look to see like when this was written and when the plan originally was for it to come out. I don't know if like there was some sort of, but I mean, if it had come out 5-6 years ago, it might have been a little more impactful. But now it's like, and there's still some things that I want to talk about in the deep dive that they bring up that still aren't great when it comes to how our college athletes are handled. But for the most part, it really kind of was like, why are we watching this movie when, this has kind of been resolved in a lot of ways. Now, there's a lot of issues still with college football or college sports in general. Let me not just limit it to football, but, and I'm sure we'll talk about those in the deep dive. But overall, like as far as a movie goes, it was good. The content was and then there were some parts that were really bad. Like you guys talked about the logos. What I thought of was when they used to have like, you can get on Madden or back when they had the NCAA college football video game, like you can build
your own team.
Like that's in those generic shit logos that they had built into those. I think that's what I thought. I was like, hey, somebody built this shit on Madden and put it on this movie. Like that. That was what I thought of. So
that's good.
Yeah, there are some interesting topics in the movie, but overall, and then like you said, there was a storyline in there that I was like, what the hell's the point of this? Like, all it did was necessitate a certain MacGuffin at the end of the movie, which we'll talk about in the deep dive. And that really frustrated me. That pulled me completely out of a movie that in the middle I was pretty into. So, for me, overall, I am going to give it a stream it. I mean, first of all, I don't think you can find it in a lot of theaters anymore. Even at this point, it's only been out for a week. But if you can, just wait. It'll be on the streaming platforms very soon. And if you enjoy a drama that has football as a background, maybe watch it. But I can't highly recommend it. But I've seen
I need to put a petition out to the masses of the common folk in the internet. Please, EA, bring back NCAA football. There's seriously a cult following that you know about for many years, and now with paid players, let's do it. I am excited. You have my money waiting.
Oh, guaranteed. I missed that. 2014?
Is it 14 or 13, man? It didn't matter. Like the NCAA football is way better than Madden ever was. I never got into Madden. NCAA football, it was like a religion for me.
I still have my PlayStation 3 because that's the only, I think.
Yeah,
because I have to have it, and that's the only game I play on it. And I buy the stupid rosters every year that somebody online.
They still make the rosters.
Yeah, they still make the rosters, so you can get on and get the rosters and upload it into your game on the PlayStation 3, so that it looks like you're playing. And they even go as far as to like do stats. Like there's guys that have made it so that they look at all the new like rosters that are coming out each year. Like, I mean, it costs me like $20 a year, and I can play.
I think they're gonna bring it back if they're smart,
I
because
hope
both Xbox and PlayStation know there's money to be had in EA
Absolutely.
alone. Anyways,
Absolutely.
but thank you for letting me make my petition.
Yeah, of course. No, I really want that same thing. So there it is. That's National Champions. Interesting movie. Just I think it's poorly timed, and that's about the only thing I can say for this movie. But with that, Mattson, tell them where else they can find us.
Yeah. If you're looking to listen to our deep dives and such, find us wherever good podcasts can be found: Apple, Spotify, Ghana, Stitcher, you name it, as well as on social media on Facebook and Twitter. Check us out at whatsourverdict.com to see our upcoming slate of movies. Some other big movies coming out at the beginning of the new year, end of December as well, we are excited for. So give us a look, give us a listen.
Cool. Appreciate that. Yeah. Looking forward to it. We appreciate you tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.
Cinemagic out.
Whoa!